Hello, welcome to Soulprint Intuitive Tarot for September 30th. You made it. You made it. The election is so close now, you can almost taste it. And for a lot of you, I know, have early voted and you have a plan in place and you've been doing everything you can. And so, yay. It feels very much like we're moving towards daybreak, right? Sun's starting to come up a little bit. So I thought today would be a good day to take a look at Nancy Pelosi and the Democrats and just see how they're doing, what they're doing, what kind of shape they're going to be in between now and the election, what's going on between now and the inauguration. So that's what we're going to take a look at today is Nancy Pelosi and the Dems. And I will tell you that I am recording this prior to Tuesday night's debate. So the Monday reading that I did, Trump's Week, talked about the fact that Biden was going to do much better than Trump on the debate, and he was going to come across as much more polished and professional. So we shall see. So I thought it would just be a good thing to take a look at how Nancy Pelosi and the Democrats are doing. God knows that lady has just been a rock. And she has really held the party together during a very, very difficult presidency. Here we go. Come on down. I have a question. So this is interesting. This is my card for Nancy Pelosi because she's such a fabulous communicator and she maintains her power, and her power is solid. It's not like on water. It's not shifting. So this is interesting, and I actually think, because it showed up at the base of the deck, I'm actually going to pull it out and let that be my center card, or the beginning card for the Pelosi Democrat read. So, final shuffle, here we go. Pelosi and Democrats, Pelosi and Democrats, Pelosi and Democrats. Okay, so as we move forward over the next 4 weeks, and then the next, whatever it is, 12 weeks or whatever it is to the inauguration, it very much feels like, in some ways, the Democrats sort of have hit their stride. They are moving forward with a plan. It is clear, it is concise. Everybody's on board. Everybody's on the same page. And, literally the sun is shining brightly on them. Very definitely, a change of fortune is coming. And so the position that the Democrats have been in for the last 4 years, and then 2 years was slightly better because they had the House. But that's changing, and they're not going to be the followers anymore. They're going to be the leaders. And there's great clarity about that. There really is. And there has been a lot of work done behind the scenes in terms of keeping track of sort of some of the biggest priorities to get taken care of. Plans are already in place. This is the thing. When you have an experienced leader of the House, and you have an experienced vice president trying to be, and senator becoming president, you have a lot of political power and a lot of political experience and savvy behind you. And so they're not like Trump, where he kind of wandered into the White House and was like, oh, I'm going to stick my thumb up my nose and ask what I should be doing next. I mean, even though he signed stuff on that first day to make a big point, but really, so they really feel as if they are in prep for being able to hit the ground running. That is a big part of what kind of is going on behind the scenes. They are working very closely with both Kamala and Joe. They're not interfering with the election, but they are kind of working, in conjunction, right? So that everybody's kind of on the same page, and more importantly, that the message is always united. Okay, now this thing with with Ruth Bader Ginsburg passing. So that is definitely not something that they wanted on their plate. They really wanted to be able to, get through the election before she passed. But as we know and we understand that things always ultimately end up working out exactly as they should. And it's very possible that part of her passing, when she did, it's very possible that that may very well have to do with bringing an even stronger awareness to people in terms of what is at risk here with the Supreme Court. And of course, by extension, what is at risk in a pandemic, which is Obamacare. So in some ways, this has given the Democrats the opportunity, it has given them a platform to talk about the Supreme Court and what putting in an ultra-conservative judge who doesn't think Obamacare is necessary in what that can do. So they've got a bit of a fight on their hands. And the reality is this: you have to understand that realistically, the Democrats cannot stop the confirmation of this woman. They can't, because Mitch McConnell has the Senate, and Mitch McConnell is controlling everything, frankly, and Donald Trump could care less. So they really do have a bit of an uphill battle on their hands. But I just want to reassure you that there is a contingency plan in place. And I even want to go farther than that. And I want to say that over the next couple of years, the makeup of the Supreme Court bench is really going to undergo some significant shifts and changes. I don't know why. I don't know whether that's because people pass away, they go into the light, whether they retire. But it just feels like not only do the Dems have a backup plan, but even long range, it feels as if things are going to shift and change so that that court becomes more balanced. Frankly, it stops being partisan, and that slowly but surely the court starts to rebuild its reputation. So that's going on kind of behind the scenes. There's a lot of worry. I'm not gonna sugarcoat this. They're scared because Trump is so Trump, right? The cheating, the lying, the interference, the election interference from Russia and other bad actors. All of this is swirling around. And of course, it's being spun in a way by the Republicans that doesn't reflect the accuracy or the reality that the Democrats are trying to deal with. But Nancy Pelosi, honestly, she is really used to managing crazy emotions from people. She really does consider Trump a badly behaved toddler, and she's not wrong. She has taken so many slings to the back, so many attacks, that honestly, at this point, they simply roll off of her like water on a duck. And the reason for that is because she is looking towards her retirement. And she wants to ensure that she is able to turn over the leadership of the House, and that the House itself is going to be in the best possible order going forward. So she is really motivated not only to get Trump out of office, not only to find him in front of the courts, not only to strengthen her party and keep it strong and keep the message positive and going forward. Now, I believe it was Marie at Marie's table who talked about the potential of Nancy Pelosi leading a second impeachment against Trump. I'm sure it was her. I hope if I got that wrong, but I'm pretty sure it was her because she was also talking about, Trump stepping away and Pence stepping in. But there was also sort of this impeachment thing at play. And I got to tell you, it's not completely out of the realm of possible, because there's a real need to try to keep the Republicans from playing all of these sort of really aggressive power grabs and power games. And she has clout, she has strength, and more importantly, she has members of her party solidly behind her, and she has a really good way of communicating her messages. And she really wants to get things balanced again. She sort of wants to bring some of the strength and force and power of the House back into play. And the idea, if they go ahead and impeach Trump, the idea is not to actually impeach him, because it's really neither here nor there. What it is, though, is a way to really, really bring attention to what is going on, what Trump is doing, and what's going on with the Senate and the Republicans under Mitch. So there's definitely some strategies, I guess, kind of maybe behind the scenes. But make no mistake, she is going to do everything she can to ensure that her message is heard, the Democratic strategy is heard, and that it continues to gain strength and momentum going forward. She doesn't want to put the people of her party who are running for re-election, she doesn't want to put them in a position where they kind of end up feeling like maybe they have to just explain or defend themselves. She's very conscientious about that. So trust everything that she does has a strategy behind it. I know there are people out there who are really, really frustrated because they somehow think that Nancy Pelosi has like a magic wand and she can just wave Mitch into submission. That's not how your government works. Okay, you have 3 equal branches of government. And so her power and Mitch's power, theoretically, is equal. Not only equal to each other, but equal to the White House. And that is not what's going on, right? That really is not what has been going on for the last many years. And so part of her is really not only anxious to get control back, but part of the reason she wants to get the control back is because she wants to move forward and get some of the stuff changed that needs to be taken care of. She has a boatload of stuff that has gone to the Senate and has not been dealt with. Honestly, kind of makes you wonder if she shouldn't consider impeaching Mitch McConnell, because it's all gone to his desk to die. But there's definitely going to be some momentum picking up, some forward movement picking up with the Democrats. They are going to be, you're going to notice in the next little while, sort of more of an aggressiveness, more of a just call them as I see them attitude coming from the Dems. They're moving past that, we need to be politically correct. Oh, we shouldn't say that, to just flat out saying what is so apparently obvious to 70 or 80% of the country. But make no mistake, there really does appear to be some sort of strategies to tie up, literally, to tie up the Republicans so that they don't have quite the power and momentum, that they're kind of flaunting right now, that they're sort of shoving down everybody's throats. There's going to be another really, really strong message that comes out. And despite Donald Trump, frankly, and realistically, the power that he continues to hold and that the Senate holds, because they're all in cahoots with each other, that's going to continue to unfold in the days and weeks and even month to come. But the Democrats there's something going on behind the scenes, and they're being very clever and very crafty about kind of the tricks in their toolbox. They're not going to be publicly talking about them. They're not going to be sharing their strategy with the average everyday American. They are keeping it very close to the vest. And when they are ready, they are going to continue to push forward even more powerful messages about what Trump is doing and his behavior and the damage that it is causing. And so their message continues to gain strength. And we know Trump's is diminishing. And this is the thing about, Trump. So much of his life and everything he does is completely tied up with his legacy, his money, his everything. Mitch McConnell, not a whole lot different. He is as big of a snake and a snake oil salesman as Trump is. But legacies that are built on false foundations eventually crash. And so while Trump is very worried about hanging on to his legacy, hanging on to his money, doing what he wants to do and getting all that adoration, the reality is that he's not gaining any significant momentum. He's not gaining, frankly, any new voters. And that puts Joe Biden, Kamala Harris, and Nancy Pelosi and the Democrats in a much stronger position in terms of not only sort of brushing Trump's stupid little tricks and games to the side, but more importantly, putting the tools in their toolboxes that they need to, move their cause forward. And there's going to be a great, great deal of support for that. Donations, look at donations continuing to just outraise. The Democrats are going to be outraising the Republicans, whether that is in Senate seats, House seats, Biden, Trump. There's going to continue to be a lot of money that rolls in, and particularly post-debate, because that which is just wrong with Trump, that which is dangerous about him, that which is not reality or science-based about him, he is going to continue to amplify that because, let's face it, it's the only game in town. It's all he knows. And meanwhile, the Democrats are just going to systematically continue to move forward with their agenda. And frankly, that really worries, some of the Republicans. And frankly, it really, really worries Donald Trump, because she is one woman that he literally cannot win against. And on some little dark, creepy corner of his mind, he understands that. Where she sort of holds the balance of power right now, right? I mean, she has stuff in place that are going to allow her to move her party forward, because ultimately, you know what, the dear sweet lady, honestly, she's getting a little tired. Okay, she really is. And she would really like to be able to move into retirement after some of the heartbreak that the American people have had to suffer is healed, where she can actually see the healing beginning. And I don't know if that means, I mean, she's up for re-election, I'm pretty sure, because they do that every 2 years. But, and I think she's going to win. I just feel like sometimes early in the new presidency, she may very well step down from leader. Now, is that going to be in 3 weeks after the election or 6 months? I don't know. But it feels as if she really is trying to get everything in order to be able to hand it off. They're working hard, boy, oh boy, they're working hard behind the scenes. They're working hard to get their message out there. This is the thing, okay? As Trump becomes more erratic and more kind of Trumpy, the message that the Dems are going to be able to put out really is, this person is so erratic that you cannot trust him. He is unhinged. He is no longer connected to reality. And I think that they are going to continue to work very, very hard at getting a message going that really amplifies that behavior, while it amplifies the stability, the compassion, the understanding, the knowledge, the wisdom of the Democrats. And again, listen, they are not as pure as sliced bread, these guys, okay? But frankly, and this is what everybody needs to remember who are still on the fence about voting, they're the best game in town, okay? You might have wanted Elizabeth Warren or Bernie Sanders, but the reality is Biden needs every single bit of support he can get. And in order for that to happen, the focus needs to continue to be on getting him into the White House. This is not going to be a cakewalk in the next month. And anybody who sort of thinks, listen, Biden's ahead by 8 or 10 points and it's all good, everything's fine, we can just sort of sit back and coast now. Yeah, that's not the time to do that yet. Okay, there's too much stuff that's going on. There is, of course, the whole Supreme Court situation. There are investigations. There is money information that's going to be coming out with Trump. And let's not forget, there still very well may be, you know, those sort of mysterious and frankly dangerous October surprises coming. So what Trump is going to continue to do is he is going to continue to muddy the water, because he wants people confused and wound up and upset and aggravated, and he is going to continue to push that narrative. But it's just not going to work for him, because you have a message of fear and hate and division, and then you have a message of hope, responsibility, taking care of business, dealing with kitchen table issues, protecting Obamacare, the Affordable Care Act, from Trump. Okay? It's about reinforcing all that is strong, and particularly with this pandemic, that's one of the messages you're going to hear a lot, is that the whole Supreme Court thing really, really is connected to Obamacare and the pandemic. And that's why there is such a strong push, because first of all, the Republicans don't frankly believe that, you know, Obamacare is a good thing and that people shouldn't have to be covered. It's not a right to be healthy. It's not a right to have good health care. That just tells you exactly how screwed up some of these Republicans are. I am sorry. And especially the fact that they are pushing this in a pandemic at a point in time where the pandemic is increasing in strength and destruction. It tells you sort of all you need to know. So even if who is the Biden-Harris ticket was not your first choice, they are the game in town that is going to be able to move the country past the abomination, frankly, of the last 4 years. And their message is going to become very, very clear. You can anticipate, you can anticipate Big money donations coming in. Look for more stuff happening with Bloomberg. Look for more public figures, and not necessarily politicians, stepping in to lend their support and their voice. And that momentum is going to continue to build and continue to build and continue to build. And as that happens for the Pelosi, Biden, Democratic, Harris grouping, as that happens, the Trump message is just going to get angrier and angrier, but it's going to become so apparent. And Nancy is going to hold the House together. She is going to work with Chuck Schumer to ensure that the Senate Democrats are all on the same page and moving forward. So as the momentum picks up for the Democrats and for Biden and that ticket, the oxygen is going to deplete in Trump's narrative. He's going to lose the attention and the focus, because as the days and weeks go forward, he's really going to become even a little bit, I think, more confused and a little bit more unhinged. And he's going to be saying stuff that is just insane and just crazy. And so there really is that sense that as they pick up momentum and speed and excitement, the oxygen moves away from Trump. And when that happens, he gets a little crazy. But he's losing his power. That's what you need to really focus on. The momentum and the power and the enthusiasm is not going to be behind him in the next 4 weeks, because as they push the Supreme Court thing, and like, what is it, like 75% or 70% of the country do not want. They want that decision made by the next president. And Trump has just slapped all those people in the face and said, the hell with you. Mitch McConnell told me to do this because he wants to make a conservative court. And guess what? I'm going to do that for you. And Mitch McConnell, not only is he fighting a bit of a fight in his own state, there is so much unrest out there. Amy McGrath is riding hard for him. They're just going to lose some of the momentum and the power. So expect some, kind of nutty stuff, but understand that Pelosi and her group are working hard and diligently and with passion and with purpose to get the country moving onto more stable ground and push the kind of the rockiness and the division and the crazy into the background, push it into the past. They are so determined to right this. And so anything and everything that can be done to increase the work and the effort and the support should, must, and needs to be done. Because even though people don't want to see Obamacare gone, they don't want to see that the nomination come from an old president. They want it for a new president. They're going to keep pushing, and the more they push, the worse they're kind of making for themselves. It feels as if some of these little strategies of theirs are going to blow up, because frankly, as more and more people are paying attention to the election, you're going to see that he's not going to be able to gain new support. All he can do is whip up support from his base, who don't really at this point almost exclusively do not live in a state of actual reality. So it certainly appears as if going forward, Nancy Pelosi and the Democrats are in a real position of strength, and to the victory goes them. There's Kamala's card. There's justice. You have the King of Cups and the Lovers, so it's about partnerships. It's about people coming together. And the fact that Trump's cards showed up here and here, so both of his cards have shown up for this reading, are simply an indication. Oh, look. He's got the Five of Pentacles sitting on top of that. So literally, the victory goes to those on the side of the right. I don't mean the right wing. I mean those who are in the light, those who are doing the right thing. And Trump appears to be left out in the cold, to not be heard, to be reduced to not being important or significant or valued, I guess. He's coming up on some really big bumps. But the Democrats under Nancy Pelosi, under Chuck Schumer, and ultimately under Biden and Harris, it really does feel like they are going to be able to bring the strength back to the country. They're going to be able to bring back sort of a coming together. It almost feels that in some way people really would like to go back in time to a place where the partisanship was not this vicious and it was not this sort of set in concrete where you have people who honestly in the very fibers of their being, they know that what Trump is doing is wrong. But it's become so partisan that they just vote with the party. They don't think for themselves anymore. And people really, they want change. They want stability. And they really would like to see their political parties get back to a place where they actually can operate cohesively. And I know that that isn't a message that everybody likes, right? Because there is that sense of, okay, well, let's just tromp the crap out of them. Let's beat them. And then let's put everything in place that we want put in place. And let's just cancel everything they did. I get that. I would probably feel the same way. But you know, that just leads to more of the same, right? And that's exactly what you've had. That's exactly how the Democrats and the Republicans have ended up, frankly, in the positions that they're in. It needs to come back to a place of better cohesion. And I think that that's going to be something that you're going to see going forward. And honestly, that's a good thing. Enough damage has been done with all the division, the hate, the rhetoric. So it looks like Nancy Pelosi's just busy doing her thing. Chuck Schumer, the Republicans are playing their little crazy games in the background, and the Dems are just marching forward, one step at a time, recognizing that this is a bit of a battle. This is not a shoo-in, but recognizing that they have the strength, the momentum, the money, and the people behind them. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed that. Thank you so much for being here. The support of this channel is fabulous, and I am so grateful for that. Very much appreciated. If you have recently subscribed, welcome. And for all of you looking for a private reading, the information is in a box below. It gives you an email link. Send me an email saying you're just looking for information, and I will send the information back to you. I am currently booking kind of the second and third week of October, so there isn't a long wait list. And if you're interested in having a reading, check out the link below or the email address below. Until next time, take care, be well, and we'll see you really soon. Bye-bye.